My name is Steve Adamko, and I am a professional interior designer, plus the owner and founder of Spectrum Interiors, established in 1982, based in Kalamazoo and Portage, Michigan. All right, folks, this is going to be a wonderful time. We're going to be talking about concepts in interior design and how important they are. The concept holds the magic key to your interior design and decorating. Interior design and decoration, as well as any other creative work, must start with an idea. The idea or the concept is the quote-unquote big deal. Before we can do anything, we must clearly understand what we want or desire to do. No one can be so naive as to suppose that vague ideas and hazy, undefined concepts will get you anywhere. As it is said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. In addition, I'll add, once you get there, I guarantee you won't like it. In the title, I mentioned that the concept holds the magic key. In a sense, it is the magic key. And in another sense, there is no magic to it at all. The magic is actually infused into the concept based on skill, knowledge, imagination, and wise judgment. But nonetheless, the concept is critically important. As I said, it's kind of like the big idea. It's like the plot. It's like the destination of where you want to go or the overall plan if you want to take a trip somewhere. The effects of great interior design are produced by definite relationships of elements like form and color, scale and proportion, lighting and texture, as well as a whole host of interrelated elements. In a sense, it is no more mysterious than the relationship of words and sentences, grammar and punctuation, as well as clarity and substance in a written report or paper. Rooms do not grow in beauty, repose, or dignity all on their own. They are imbued with these attributes by a studied and creative process. Nothing gets better looking on its own, unless you're talking about a caterpillar eventually turning into a butterfly. The process is not very difficult to understand. However, it can never be successfully employed if you do not know precisely what you're trying to do. Therefore, the concept is of tremendous importance. It's not only what you want the room to look like, but what you want it to feel like as well. This is something that we call ambiance. And I talked about this in the very first episode of a look versus an ambiance and why you really need to have both. You really can't have a great room without both. That's just the way it is. A lot of people think, oh, I've got this sort of look, but a look is just like, well, let me equate it to a lady that's all dressed up to the nines going out to a great anniversary dinner. She's all dressed up, looking absolutely perfect, but she forgot to put on her favorite perfume. Now, ladies, how do you feel? Probably not totally put together. Not feeling perfect. Feeling a bit naked? Oh yeah, I know you are, even though you're not, and you look fantastic, but it's that intangible essence, that ambiance, that, what would you call it? Kind of like an aroma in a way, a scent. It's intangible. You can't touch it. You can smell it, but you can't see it. You can't touch it, but it makes an indelible impression, not only on you, but others as well. No doubt about it. One of the first things to be definitely determined is the purpose of each room. You don't have to necessarily go by the name it was designated or the name it was called on the floor plan. You need to determine and go by the actual function, the activities that are going to be performed in the life of that family or person or household. You don't need to be swayed or strongly influenced by the conventions of your neighborhood. You need to stay true to your needs and your aspirations. Do not, and I repeat, do not be afraid to be unique. There is only one person like you in the whole world since the beginning of time and until the end of time. Okay? So forget the fads. This is not like fashion in the clothing world. Once the real purpose of a room has been determined, everything selected and used in furnishing the room should be in tune with that purpose, expressing the desired ambiance that is envisioned from the very beginning. So this is like writing a piece of music. You might see a passage, somebody composes a piece of music and they might say, that doesn't sound as smooth there as it should. It's a B flat. Let's raise it a step or so and half step. Let's go to a B sharp, and then you hear it and say, oh yeah, that's a lot nicer, a lot smoother. Just a small incremental change in pitch. But in this case, it's so much better to B sharp than B flat. Wouldn't you agree? I think so. Also, a consistent adherence to a predetermined standard of excellence throughout the appointments of each room, as well as the transitions from room to room, is essential to outstanding work. So, put your thoughts down on paper where you can see them and mull them over. Put down every thought and idea you have that is descriptive in nature. Never think that anything is inconsequential. Write it all down. You never know how a small seed of an idea will germinate and grow into something absolutely wonderful. Now, it's so important to have an overall concept or idea of where you want to go with a room. Sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to take this rug, this oriental rug, and I'm going to base the room off of this. So they start selecting, colors, materials, patterns to basically go with the rug or match the rug or any number of different things. Sometimes they'll get into a matchy-matchy situation with that, which can end up being boring over time. It's important to orchestrate the whole endeavor. It's important to have nuances in there, subtle changes, transitions, just like a piece of music, exactly like a piece of music. There are so many people out there that think, I can handle this design, it's really not that hard, and yet you ask them to write a piece of music and it's like, where do I start? What do I do? How do I do this? How do I make this memorable? There's a lot of rooms out there that definitely aren't memorable. They don't have a melody line. They don't have something that transcends the ordinary. It's kind of like a little ditty, like Mary Mary Had a Little Lamb or something like that. But it's not a symphony by any stretch of the imagination. So the concept kind of holds everything together. So to give you an example of a concept, a while back I did a master bath and bedroom in a mansion that was built in 1926 to 1927. And the main house had a square footage of about 11,000 square feet. It had a gatekeeper's house, a gardener's house, a chauffeur's house, an 8-stall garage for the cars of that time. So when I was presented with this room, which is a textbook version of French Louis the 16th, right down to the color of the walls, the moldings, the fireplace firebacks that were cast iron, the herringbone parquet wood floors, all of that. Beautiful, beautiful architectural surround, which really didn't have to do too much other than changing the draperies and whatnot, but that was it. Otherwise, the room itself to start with was near perfect. So I was faced with what type of concept do I want to create? What kind of look and feel do I want to bring about in this situation? What type of feelings do I want to evoke when you enter this room? So a lot of people can just say, well, I'm going to start with a nice rug and then build up from there. And so they're building block upon block without really a plan. It's like starting to build something and you don't even have a plan. You just start on this corner and we'll go this way and then we'll go that way. And, that's not really the way to do it. So I thought about it for a while and I looked at the architecture, and what I wanted to do was create this for, a husband and wife where they would feel just as comfortable in formal dress as they would if they were in blue jeans and a t-shirt. So the concept was like this. I wanted to create a unique environment that reflected the people that lived there, that they could feel comfortable in formal wear and just as comfortable in blue jeans and a t-shirt. But harken back to the days of old when it was like a real elegant bedroom, which at that time it was elegant. It is elegant. But to create a more eclectic version for today, not to do it totally detailed like it was a recreation of that era, but to keep it in a traditional mindset with traditional elegance and not getting too crazy with it. So it was quite a large room, which enabled me to space plan it in such a way that we had several areas of activities, you might say, or areas of endeavor, such as reading, writing, correspondence, chairs for two next to the fireplace, a seating area with a love seat and chairs. So there were like 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe 5 groupings if you think of including the bed in there as well. Most of the furniture in it was from Baker Furniture. It was from the Macmillan collection, which ultimately landed me in their catalog, the Baker Furniture catalog, which was quite an honor. But I also designed some custom furniture in terms of bedside tables and a couple pieces, a chest or commode and a secretary that came in a particular standard finish that I had done in a customized finish, like hand-painted zebra wood, that type of thing. So it ended up being a really gorgeous room, and one could go in there and just write, read, converse next to the fireplace, even to almost bringing up a couple close friends, like one would do in a boudoir. So it was a very interesting room, and I had to think about what was the concept. What was I going to do with this? So I know I wrote down some things that would help to present the vision that I had for this room. And there was a lot that went into thinking about it and creating the concept in words so that we could bring about this vision. So there was a lot that went into the words to bring about and to paint a word picture of this particular vision. So if you want to get a kind of a sense of the room or the colors of the room, similarly, there is a picture. If you go to Britannica.com, like as in Encyclopedia Britannica, there is a model of a Louis XVI style boudoir circa 1780. And it's somewhat similar to that, except it's a bedroom. It will give you an idea of what the room looked like in a similar vein. Now, when this room was all done, the fabrics included in it were orchestrated in such a manner, and I'm including, main fabrics, custom bed covering that I designed that was silk on one side, damask on the other, trimmed in real deep, dense, thick purple French velvet. We're talking about trim on pillows themselves, upholstery for all different types of chairs, and love seat. So altogether, I think there were somewhere around 25 to 30 different fabrics that were actually orchestrated to pull this off, to create a lot of depth and what I would call tactile interaction, such like, touchability. Let's call it touchability. So anyway, I created a statement, kind of a mission statement, that basically described this. Now, there's a lot more that went into it. I don't happen to have all the written description in front of me, but I have a portion of it that will give you kind of an indication of what kind of concept I had. So it goes something like this. The master bedroom is being approached with a relatively strong sense of Louis XVI in the selection of chairs and case goods, yet taking a certain liberality in eclecticism, but maintaining the feeling of opulence. Now, that one sentence or small paragraph gives a lot of clues as to what we need to do. So when you create a concept, it's kind of like a yardstick. It's like a level. It's like a plumb bob. It keeps you on target. It eliminates getting off track in a major way. So continuing on, these are all arranged in such a way as that when you enter the room and proceed around it in a clockwise fashion and ending with the master bathroom, you have all these aspects that just merge with each other and transition from one thing to another. The lighting was accomplished through the existing chandelier and fireplace wall sconces with the addition of uplights, torchères, lamps, pharmacy lamps to evoke an intimate atmosphere. Now, lighting is critically important in every interior, yet a lot of people don't think much about how to manipulate it. In maybe some future, I'll be talking about color to this degree. Color is how you light it, because there is no inherent color in any object. It's inherent in the source of the particular light that is illuminating it. So going on, the window covering in the bedroom will consist of tied back side panels of amethyst moire. And then we did English braid of the material along with 3 strands of gold lame braiding as well on a finer scale. So you had basically 3 yarns, if you will, so to speak, 3 braids, 3 of the fabric itself plus the gold lame. So you had 6 things that you had to interweave to make this braided tie back, which was really, really nice. I wanted to find a large Aubusson type of rug, but never could quite find the exact pattern and coloration that I really needed. So we ended up just keeping the floor plain, but it was beautiful with the herringbone parquet flooring, just excellent. So the bed, at first I wanted the bed to be custom designed and made with inset upholstered panels and swags, but I created something very similar with a bed from Baker that worked out just wonderful. And it had the bed covering that I told you, plus they had several custom pillows and bolsters on each end. The artwork was more in line with the period, but had a romantic appeal. So they were custom framed to certain pieces of artwork. Hard to find a lot of times large pieces. So there's other things that you can do to create that sense, which we did. You can also see a YouTube video of this that I put together on my YouTube channel called Design Ambiance. And that's capital D, ESIGN, then capital AMBIANCE. There are no spaces in between design and ambiance. It's Design Ambiance. If you put Design Ambiance in the search bar of YouTube, it'll pull up all my videos. This one happens to be titled The Design Work of Piercier and Fontaine alongside the work of interior designer Stephen C. Adamko. So it's got music that's put with it. It shows you a comparison of the work of Piercier and Fontaine, which were architects and interior designers during the French period who were actually the designers for Napoleon and Josephine Bonaparte. So that's there, and it's about a 2-minute and 24-second video, but I think you'll find that entertaining, and you'll be able to see what that room looks like as well. So, and there are other YouTube videos on my channel, Design Ambiance. So that's a little bit about the idea of having a concept, why it's so vitally important that you have one when you embark on any interior design endeavor. It's knowing where you're going before you get there and before you even take the first step, so that when you do get there, you know you're there. You don't want to start out without a concept, end up finishing it and wonder what happened, why does it look this way, you don't want to be like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz saying to Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, or desiring to go to New York City and you end up in, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You don't want to miss the mark. You want to set up your goal, your target, your bullseye. You want to be able to hit it exactly, precisely, because that's how you use your time, your energy, and your money in the right way to get what you need and want to have. So it actually is imperative that you put this in a detailed way. So you'd have to think about it deeper than you probably have ever thought before. So that's what helps make the journey a little bit better. Folks, have a good one today. Just remember, the concept is king. It's the big idea. It's the glue that holds everything together. Just remember, a concept is what the Wright brothers and Thomas Edison and Henry Ford had. And here's a great quote by Eero Saarinen, the famous architect. Always design a thing by considering it in its next larger context. A chair in a room in a house, and a house in an environment. All right, people. We'll catch you later. Enjoy the rest of this music and have a wonderful day.